to be here today. Everyone has eaten. The energy is up. Okay, yes, so. Give that up for the energy being up. Queens, the most diverse place to live on the planet. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute.
That's
okay.
True. That's true.
Right? There's nothing like it. 3 million people, over 1.2 million women in this borough, over 500 languages spoken. If you extrapolated Queens out of New York City, it'd be the number 4 city in America. Isn't it great? But we have a problem, a crisis. And it drove me to fly out to Reykjavik with no ego, humble, salivating for information, hungry for worth. You have an opportunity right here in this audience with your pens, with your pads, with your mindset to listen to these phenomenal women in Reykjavik speak about what they have solved for. And until we become completely humble with no egos, it won't resonate. The relevance won't remain. So I ask you today, as we speak to our panelists, to open up your mind, your hearts, your soul, and take in what could be a phenomenal inspiration to implementation. And in that implementation, action reigns and action sustains, and we become better women. Mayor Heiða, I'd like to start with you. You have a council made up of all women, which I think is absolutely tremendous. The world struggles with this inclusiveness. How is what you're doing with the women that are serving this city a model for changing the world, for coming up and showing up differently? Talk to us more about that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. In the council, there are 23 seats, and majority is women. But even though that has been the case for quite a long time, women have not been like in those seats, not been mayors, particularly often, actually. There is only one mayor who has been like the whole term in Reykjavik. So now we were from 5 different political parties. People thought that was not possible to get 5 political parties together to form a majority, to agree on a task ahead, but we did it. And of course, that is really stressful for many of the men. It's always really stressful for men when women talk together, and even more stressful if they find an agreement.
Yes.
So it's going actually very well, and I think we are showing that women are as good, if not better, as leaders. We are doing things faster than the men did. We are talking to more people. We're involving more people in the decision making, which I think shows that feminism is not like exclusion; it's inclusion.
That's right.
Feminists, we are always including everyone in our decisions, but we feel that. Even though we are in Iceland, and of course we are here because the women went out and went on a strike 50 years ago.
Yes.
And they made so much for us, and my generation, absolutely, almost everything. But still, this is a phase. We know, we hope it's a long phase. We hope we get stronger, and we hope we get more, and we get more accepted as leaders. But we still find I like to dress in colors. I often get
beautiful.
Compliments on that. Not like beautiful, are you dressed as a small bird, or are you from men, women.
Understood.
Yeah, and my voice is not the right type. My hair is too frizzy. Things like the men who were before me did not get. I mean, they were old and fat, and no one talked about that. No, I'm joking. But if a woman, we are criticized in so much and so different way, and the threats that we get are so personal.
Yes.
And I think that is something that we have to stick together. But
Understood.
I think women, when we work together, we are strong.
Yes. And so what do you tell someone like Ebony, who goes back to Queens, New York City, into New York City, and wanting to see those changes happen? What are 2 or 3 insights that you give to me to say, hey, listen, think about this. In me leading this 5-council group, here are some of the things that I see. Here are some of the things that I feel like are necessary to implement as you're trying to sustain change. What's that look like?
I think women have to talk together, and we have to say to the man, you want equality, you have to show it. It's not enough to talk about it. You have to show that you trust women, that you are willing to hire them, to fund their things or work with them. Because often men say, of course, I support equality, but now it's not the time. Now is the time. And I think that we can show, and not only in Reykjavik, I think many of the women also here, it's an honor to be on this panel with these great women here. I think we show that we lead a little bit different way, and I think it's better. I have worked both with women and men, and I think we are less influenced of rich men. You know, men love rich men, you know. You know it. They talk to each other with, they influence us less.
Yes.
So we are more like open to the whole society, and I think that is one of the things I've seen very often.
So remain open, trust, and hire women. This could be something we all take back in implementation. And I think that's so imperative when you're trying to change systems and think about how people react to those systems and how reciprocity is bred, right? Which I think is really important. Lilja, you are running one of Iceland's leading banks, which, give it up for Lilja, everybody. Yes. We are at a shift, a dynamic shift, and really thinking and looking at an unprecedented share of assets being transferred to women. In America, we call it the great wealth transfer, right? That's happening right now. What are the actions to ensure women are supported by these systems as changes happen, as women come into a space that traditionally we have not been in? What does that look like?
Well, it's a complicated question, and thank you very much, Ebony. Thank you for inviting me today. And it's especially nice to see here on the front a few of the pioneering women in Icelandic finance.
Lovely.
The ones I'm sort of following and I've been admiring for years. So what's changing now in finance is that in 15 years or so, women will basically manage about half of the world's wealth versus, it's a lot less now. It's about 30% now. And this is happening through all sorts of ways. I mean, through women being, the head of household, breadwinner, women living longer, women inheriting spouses, inheriting parents, both parents. So women are controlling more. And there's a few things that might change, but
I think so.
I'm not worried for those women. They will choose to work with whom they want to work with. Nobody tells a 50-year-old, you have to work with me. No. They will choose with their feet, and it's important for financial institutions, for anyone that's supporting people. To realize if they want to stay relevant, they have to stay relevant in different ways than before. And interestingly, we are partaking in a study which is funded by the European Union through the Copenhagen Business School by a woman called Arna Ólafsson, who's a professor and a PhD, and she's studying in gender in finance. Do women make different decisions? It's a myth that we are more risk-averse.
It's a myth.
I don't know if it's a myth. I mean, at least she's going to be using data to either demyth the myth, or she's going to give us information on how women actually execute all sorts of decisions, not just investment. We know that women are less likely to invest. But on everything else, because women are going to be controlling, the household budget, the mortgages, where to live, what to spend, how to invest, how to create wealth for the next generation, and what companies and how they will look at their portfolios. I mean, it's all going to be led by women in the next few years. It's going to be more women that control these decisions. Yeah. So I like data. I love data.
Me too.
So I'm very excited about this study because I'm I can make a generalization, say women are this and that, but I love to work with somebody that's going to study it and really try to understand. And this is how I'm going to try to be relevant to the Icelandic population. And this is, anybody that won't recognize that there's a change won't be relevant. So we really don't have to worry about it because businesses want to survive. They want to thrive.
That's right.
And women choose whom they work with.
That's right. And times are changing. Relevance is important. But in that relevance, we have to make the connection to what are the primary movement factors that kind of correlate to relevance. And women are risk takers, guys. Think about this. And I'm going there with the kids. Every day when you're raising your kids or you have little kids or you've had little kids, you're risking every 3 minutes, every 5 minutes. Okay, let me move this. Let me take this. Let me move. Gosh, we are some phenomenal leaders. And I actually think that is going to show up in asset transfer. I do. And I think I would love to see that study. When you're done with the study, we'd love to see it because I really, really do believe that we're going to find some things that may not be average. Right?
Yeah, I should just follow Dr. Arna Ólafsson at Copenhagen Business School and see what she's finding out using our data and data from other banks in Europe.
So that's what we're going to tell this audience to take back. Find this data, get the data, get your playbooks ready, right, and execute. Thank you, Lilja. Very, very good. Sarah, the research. I read the research just last night, and the challenges, the opportunities, the strategies that sit in that. LinkedIn put out a powerful report, Women Losing Ground in Leadership. It was quite astonishing. I mean, I'm like, what? Our mother's fault. Somebody flew to Beijing, right? Iceland in 76, right? We had the march, right? Yeah. What's happening here?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, Lily, I'm so here for the data. We're all about the data. So I know everyone here knows what LinkedIn is, but what you might not know is that because we have over 1 billion members in more than 200 countries around the world, we have incredible real-time insights about how the world of work is changing. And one of the things we've been tracking for a number of years is women's progression into leadership. And so earlier this year, when we partnered with the World Economic Forum to look at this in their Global Gender Gap Report, what we saw is that for the 3rd year in a row, the rate of hiring women into leadership declined. And what that means is that we have now wiped out years of progress in hiring women into leadership. We are back to where we were in 2020.
Oh.
And
wait, can we sit there for a second? We're back to where we were in 2020. What? Yeah, I mean, go ahead, please proceed.
Well, and Sam Saberstein was up here earlier today, and she talked about that sort of mid-career being a real inflection point for women. And at LinkedIn, we see that in our data. It is at that first manager level where the biggest widening or the biggest drop-off in women into leadership happens. And I think about that a lot because it's my job, obviously, but it's also my life. I have a 7-year-old and twins who just turned 5, and so if you do the math on that, it was 2020. I had 3 under 3. Daycare was closed for 10 days every time there was a case of COVID. I was working at JP Morgan at the time. I was a VP. Yep. And let me tell you, the hardest thing I've ever done in my life is keeping that job.
Wow.
And the reason I was able to do that, I would say there were 2 things that allowed me to do that. Not well, let me be clear. I was not kicking ass. But JP Morgan kept paying me, so thank God for that. But the 2 things that enabled me to do that were 1, JP Morgan's childcare benefit, and 2, my husband being an equal partner. Wow. And so I think we need to take away from that what women need is both the structural and systemic supports, but we also need men, not just in their external positions as leaders, but in their personal lives to really step up and be equal partners.
Wow, that is phenomenal. Yes, that deserves a clap. Absolutely. If anybody sat in COVID with very little children, you understand and you know this. I think the takeaway, let me ask the audience this. Audience, do you see this shift happening mid-career in your countries, in your cities, in your states? Raise your hand. Do you see it happening? Okay, that's enough. Yeah. That's enough people, right? So when you're thinking about that whole mid-career transformation, what can women do? What can we do right here at the Global Power Forum to start to influence a new direction, new thinking, new opportunities around moving the solveness forward?
So, one of the interesting things we find when we look at C-suite leadership and the skills that are needed for C-suite leadership is that increasingly we expect leaders moving into the C-suite to have more cross-domain, cross-functional experience. And, it used to be right in the past that you would rise up the ranks in your company or even in your industry. That's no longer the case. We want people in leadership to have these multifunctional experiences, cross-geography, all of that. And what we see in our data is that women coming into the C-suite actually bring that more than men. And so I think for us in this room, it's thinking about how do we recognize and develop and uniquely reward these characteristics and experiences and skills that women uniquely bring so that they are moving into leadership.
I think that's great. In the banking industry, right, are you seeing men mentor women? Do you see that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. And but I like to have a little. I have a few rules for myself.
Okay, love to hear them.
And I use them to. Because I come from a background sort of technical, engineering, finance, and I didn't know any women when I started.
Oh, whoa, that's good. Listen to that. She said she didn't know any women in that. Go.
No, I didn't know. I didn't really know any women when I started my job. I only been around men.
Understood.
Really. It's like I know I don't want to do that metaphor. So I came there and I didn't know anybody. So I started getting calls. Hey, Lilja, can you recommend a woman for this board? Do you know anybody for this? And I was like, okay, I need to have a better answer then. So I started sort of creating this mental lists, and then I started just creating lists, which women. And I know some of the ladies here in the room, they are very good at this. Sure. So I try to have a list of a few women that I can recommend, and just always keep a woman's name top of my mind.
Great.
Because you don't know where the next question comes from. And also, if I see a woman, through my job, as she's working on whatever, I talk her up. The company comes up in a conversation.
Let's give a clap around talking women up.
100%.
Yes.
It comes around in a conversation. This is this name. It's like, oh yes, I met Linda. She's great. She's got a lot of substance, and I use strong words. Substance. She knows what she's talking about. All sorts of strong words that sort of inherently connect her with being strong, good, operational woman.
Yes.
Can get the job done, and somebody that would is solid and. So I do try to build an image, and these are just things to keep in mind on an everyday basis, and I think it helps because then these men don't know the woman, start thinking about her. Oh, she's strong. Yes, she's very dependable. She knows what she's talking about. Delivers. All of that.
So opening up the gateway, everyone. I'm going to encourage everyone sitting in this audience, when you go back, open the door for someone else. There's someone in your office right now. There's someone sitting at your table right now, and we're closed-lipped about recommending women.
Yes, I think it's because we have a bias, and you see a role.
Absolutely.
And let's say it was a mayor, and we hadn't had that many mayors, and the first thing that comes up on your mind is naturally. There'll be a few men.
Yes.
So you have to train yourself. It's like, it's like learning a new sport. You just have to train your brain in thinking in terms of diversity.
Yes.
And you have to train the people you talk to think about somebody in different terms than they might otherwise.
That's right. Very true. Mayor Heiða, we're going to end with you here, right? You are a staple in Reykjavik. You are the mayor of Reykjavik. I think give it up for Mayor Heiða. Yeah. And your mentors along the way, were they men, were they women, were there a hybrid of both? And what did they give you in value to be the best you can be right now for Reykjavik?
I mostly have women as mentors, actually, but also men. And I think we are biologically not so different. Yes. But it's the society that shapes us and shapes girls and boys now. Of course, they think differently. The men say, go for it, just jump, you're great. And the women say, you have to go more, you have to count the votes and you have to do. So, of course, we're different because we are trained like that in our society. But I think we feel the backlash, and we feel that there are strong, even political parties who are now saying that women cannot lead, women should not be managers or mayors, or they should be in their homes cooking for the children and taking care. I mean, this is the reality, and we are seeing the setbacks because of that, and especially older women. I mean, we see all the actresses on the internet talking about like how this affects them. And of course, it affects the politicians too. And I think also to honor all the work that all the women have done for us in the past, we have to stay strong, and we have to and we have to continue, and we have to demand more rights, and be aware of that. Even though I would like it to be, like Lilja said, that women would control the money and the companies and the cities as equal as men, I'm afraid it won't be if we just wait for it. We have to work for it.
Love that. We're going to leave it there. Implement, act, sustain. Thank you all so much for your time.